Anyhow, we arrived at Auschwitz. The following morning, we went out to work on the ghetto.
You arrived in Poland?
No, I mean, I arrived to Warsaw, yes. Now, for those who don't know, it was in end of May. And those who don't know the history, 1944. Those who don't know the history of Warsaw, Warsaw had one of the largest ghettos in Europe. They ground up, I think they started that in 1941. By 1943, there were actually in the beginning close to 500,000 Jews there, squeezed in that ghetto. A lot of them died, and a lot of them were after deported to Treblinka, to Majdanek, and there they were gassed. And but towards 1944, the spring of 1944, there was very few of them left. And they found out where they're being taken, and they said, might as well die here, rather die here than to be carried away there and killed there. And they revolted. It was during Passover time in 1943, not 44, 1943. And actually, they put up a fight. That was the first time that the Jews, anywhere, revolted against the Germans. Of course, German power was overwhelming. They came and they destroyed the ghetto with them. Some of them survived, some escaped, and some were taken away to different camps after that. And our job when we came there was to liquidate the ghetto, to salvage anything that has any kind of value, and then we loaded these things to freight cars and send it back to Germany. Now, other small items that the Germans didn't use, Polish peasants or Polish people used to come with their wagons and pick up and pay to the Germans for that. While we were there were a lot of people who were working in the ghetto. They had to clean up everywhere, and they were looking at the bunkers everywhere. Some of them found dead people, whole families together. They were there, and they were looking always for all kinds of valuables. I, again, was one of those who was selected, about 20 of us, the third day or so, and they told us not to go back to the work to the ghetto, but assemble in a different spot, and we are going somewhere else. We assembled, and suddenly in the morning, a military truck came in, and told us they had a canopy over it. He says, jump in, and we jumped in, and we went for a ride. And again, the canopy we were covered again, covered by canopy, and just traveled. We arrived to the SS headquarters of Warsaw, and we became so-called the maintenance men. Cut the grass, any kind of work that could be done, this was our job. I think we had it better, but the work wasn't as difficult, I think easier, and sometimes we got some leftovers too than the rest of the people. And another thing we had there, we had an amplifier in the center of the court for the German soldiers, like the radio. They could listen to music, listen to the news. And every day was the same routine. In the morning left, in the evening came back. Our diet consisted of, in the morning you got up, you got some black coffee, then you went out to work, and you worked until the evening. In the evening you returned back, you got a slice of bread and soup, and that was all what there was to it. And during that period, while we were in Warsaw, there used to be every second or third week a so-called a selection, and every Sunday you used to take off your shirt, and anybody was a Muslim. A Muslim was a person who had hardly anything left, any meat on him. Only thing he had left was skin and bone. Those were selected, and they were always after that sent back to Auschwitz to get rid of them. And that was the routine all the time. So every selection, always we lost somebody else. And while I was working there, and right the second week already, in June, while we were listening there, the radio was on, and there was an announcement on the radio: Allied forces tried to lend their friends. Of course, we inflicted heavy casualties and we repelled them. I didn't know what that day was called that time, but now I know it's called D-Day. And that was my introduction to D-Day. When I came back to the barracks, I told my friends not to worry. I know this is not true. This is all propaganda. The Allies landed, and very soon the war will be over. Unfortunately, the war didn't end, and life kept on going on the same way every day. Some people either died natural death, and a lot of them were taken back, but we were still staying there, all of us. We were there over 3,000. But towards the end of July, in the night time, we could hear already machine guns, especially artillery. The Russian front was getting closer and closer to Warsaw. By July 28 or something like that it was, they told us to get ready. Tomorrow we are leaving Warsaw. Instead of leaving us there, they decided, no, we're taking you away.